Kami dari family Datuk Haji Sudin Kamari mengucapkan
Selamat Raya.
Grisaiaの迷宮
Sup? What's up? Johnny Banger 45 here. Welcome back to the Labyrinth of Grisaia. Yes, my friend, the last episode I see the death of Akasaka-chan. Yeah, it's been a very long 10 hours playing this, and we finally come to it.
続きからよ
And someone hit him. Ow! What the hell?
うわ、びっくり生きてた
JB?
あなた、ここ1週間何してたのよ。何度電話しても出ないし、留守電残したりメールしても返事が来ないし。こうして来てみれば、床の上に転がってるし、死んでるのかと思ったわ。
Oh sorry, where did I put my phone anyway?
玄関の横に落ちてたわよ。っていうかバッテリー切れてるし。
Right, I tossed it over there right after I got back from Japan. Must just forgot about it.
無責任にこんなこと言いたくないけど、しっかりしなさいよ。
Yeah, probably. Asaka's dad had to be hitting JB hard too. Even so, the woman had to let herself shed a single tear in front of me. I knew she was incredibly sad, but she was trying to be strong anyway. Getting together had to be the last thing she wanted to hear right now, but she's still saying it anyway for my sake. As a slow exhaling the air inside my lungs, I drew a deep quiet breath. Okay, so why are you here? Do I have a job?
引っ越し。
What? Who's moving?
あなたの。
To where?
私の部屋に。
Why?
あなた一人にしておくとダメになるから。
I see. She had a point. Staying in a cabin where Asako's scene still lingering there would just keep my mind running in circles. This place was paralyzing me. If moving could change my mood even slightly, it probably wasn't a bad idea. The move itself didn't take particularly long. It only took me 10 minutes to push all my possessions into the backpack. After depositing in the trunk with their bright yellow car, I took a nap in the passenger seat. By the time I woke up, we arrived at my new residence. Wow! JP's apartment building stood in the Akasaka district to the Minato Wharf. From Rupi Street, you reach it by climbing a hill line out with a cherry blossom, a tree hotel where an airline was visibly nearby. So beautiful! I was a little impressed that she managed to live in a neighborhood this nice, considering the CRIs was exactly known for its generous salaries. But I had to assume that they paid the death time a good deal better than us villagers, who pitifully low wages were supplemented by commissions. Nice place!
借り物よ。私の部屋じゃないわ。
What? What did you bought an apartment like this?
サムおじさん。彼はとってもいい人よ。
Uncle Sam, I say. Basically, she was using a spare apartment Uncle Sam had purchased near the American Embassy as a housing for imported diplomats. Somehow or another, this she had earned herself the title of auxiliary section chief in the Central Intelligence Research Sector Division. That was probably enough to earn her a few perks like this. Shaggy as she might be, she really was one hell of a career woman. On top of which, she drove an expensive Italian car and lived in a pricey Akasaka apartment. I don't understand why you had such trouble getting married, JB. I don't understand.
は？何よ急に。そんなしみじみと考え込むようなこと？
Yes, it's because you're a little annoying. Nothing else comes to mind.
うるさいわね。私は男より仕事を優先しているだけで、別にモテないわけじゃないのよ。っていうか、ちょっとうざいって言わないで。
Sorry, I meant it as a compliment.
どこが？もういいわ。とりあえず、そっちの奥の部屋、空いてるから好きに使いなさい。
Alright. I tried my best to adapt to my new lifestyle in this comfortable environment. Living with someone who shared my sadness would make everything easier for us, but we'd be able to support each other. That's why I thought at least. It proved to be a good deal more complicated and difficult than I expected. The two of us couldn't figure it out. Even so, it's not like living with Jimmy was exactly unpleasant.
起きなさい。
Yeah, I'm awake.
おはよう。ひどい顔ね。また眠れなかったの？
No, I slept just fine. Saw a weird dreams, that's all.
そう。私、もう仕事に出なきゃいけないんだけど、朝ごはん、自分で食べられる？
It's fine, don't worry about it. I'll take out the garbage, so you can just leave that.
これはゴミじゃないわよ。服を買っておいたから、外に出るときはこれに着替えて。それと、携帯電話を必ず持っていくこと。
Got it.
それと、テーブルの上に食事台が置いてあるから、お昼はそのお金で好きなものを食べなさい。
Thanks.
じゃあ、行ってきます。
Right, see you later. The smell of coffee, the sound of the television set left on. Whenever JB left for a while, Farmer instantly became a much larger than lonelier face. Pouring myself a cup of coffee from what remained in the pot, I took an orange and some natto from the fridge and cut thick slices of 180,000 yen. 1,800 yen breath. I opened a package of natto mix with included mustard sauce and stirred the beans around. Once the mixture was nice and sticky, I added a bit of mayo and stirred it out again. Plopping this mixture onto my piece of bread, I added a bit of sliced cheese then slipped into the toaster oven. As I waited for the machine to toast my bread, I took a few sips of my cup of caffeine-free coffee. It was oddly flavorless. Opening the curtains, I looked down to see that JB's Harudera was just poking his yellow nose out of the underground garage. The flashy Franklin horse would be warming it up in traffic before long. No doubt she ended up locked in another battle with her commuting arch driver. A red-brown Galador make a threat to accompany with a water buffalo for a local. How is that? There wasn't a toaster in JB's apartment originally. Until I arrived, she was using the toaster more on the microwave. I really wanted a traditional model, so I picked one up for 2,000 at the Shinjuku electronic retailer. It's good. A luxury apartment full of luxury furnishing. In this sleek, high-class environment, the cheap toasters on the kitchen counter start out like a sore thumb. We had a great deal in common, me and that toaster. We were completely useless, but we just didn't fit in it. Jerry and Asako. For two old friends who grown up in the same old age, they certainly approach life in different ways. That morning, I dreamed of Asako for the first time in a while. In my dream, Asako had been chopping her cabbages from the garden out behind her cabin and stuffing them into a beer mug. Then added crushed ice drained in French dressing, producing a bizarre concoction she referred to as ice cabbage. My God, she never stopped with the creative cuisine. Glancing over at me as I watched in order, Asako had processed the great piece of cold crisp cabbage with her chopstick while simultaneously gushing sweet potato shochu on the rock. If I told JB about it, she probably had answered, "That sounds like Asako," right, with a gentle smile. Because I was trying not to mention Asako around JB when I could possibly have it. For her part, JB seems to be avoiding the subject and it seems to make her too happy when I brought it up. The world's gonna keep looking back forever. At some point, we had to start moving forward. Once I finished my breakfast, I washed my face and brushed my teeth. There were 3 toothbrushes on the stand just outside the bathroom. Until the other day, there had only been one. There was a reason for this sudden increase, of course. It was 3 days after I moved in.
ここでの生活にも、もう慣れた？
Well, more or less.
何か足りないものがあれば、遠慮なく言いなさい。必要ならすぐに用意するから。
Let's see. Alright, how about a firmer toothbrush? Yours is way too soft.
え？
I like the kind with stiffer hairs. It's not that big a deal though. I can just buy one at the convenience store.
待って待って。そうじゃなくてね。ユージ。もしかして、私の歯ブラシ使ったの？使っちゃったのかな？
You said I could use anything in the apartment, didn't you? Was it off limits?
常識！誰もが自分と同じに持ち合わせていると信じていた常識がこんな形で崩壊するなんてしまったこの子の常識は朝子のそれと何ら変わらないということをすっかり失念していたわ深く
Sorry, JB.
わかった歯ブラシ買ってくる毛が硬いの買ってくる
I hadn't been aware of this previously, but apparently I was just as cry as Asako in some respect. Ever since that day, there were 3 toothbrushes in the apartment, my JB and the other she used before I moved in. I generally my JB is probably in the right, and a few of my answers seems to be part of the course with the woman. When I finished brushing my teeth and washing my face, I glanced over the mirror and realized my hair had grown out a little. Sooner or later, JB probably told me to cut it. That was sort of woman she was. After returning to my room, I dressed myself. For some reason, JB seems to enjoy buying me clothes. Back when I lived in that cabin with Asako, I never gave much thought of what I wore. Guess that's not so surprised Asako and I were both the kind of person who felt perfectly at home running around in blue tracks pants and a combat jacket. They do say that a man's wardrobe tends to change depending on the woman he's with, but I think JB was acting trying to change me from the clothes up. The outfit she left on me, particularly morning, was as usual a bit much. First, there was a black Italian shirt, tight-fitting and narrow in the arms. The collar was designed to be worn widely open. She also picked out her banker's strip suits to go along with it. Once more, the color was highly wrinkled. She had open, but the suit was unusually short in the arms, so you were probably supposed to fold the curve on your inner shirt over the sleeve of the jacket. When I tried on the pants, I discovered they were also very slim. If I sweat while sitting down in these things, they'd probably glue themselves to my thighs. The top of the bottle of French Collie tumbled noisily out of the bag. Apparently, she even wanted to decide my body order for me. The instructions indicates I should spray on my neck, behind my ears, on my wrists, and on the side of my abdomen. I had to struggle my way through training in fight language for this. Putting on the shirt, jacket, and silver necklace to complete the outfit, Jamie had me. I stood in front of the mirror and evaluated myself. I'm either an intellectual yakuza or a rompi or a rompongi hostage. If I walk around Yamanashi wearing something like this, they'll probably hassle me for dressing like a peacock. If I went out to the harbor in Shiozuka, everywhere I had in the pure clothes, brother. Then again, this was Akasaka right next to the wrong project. I don't really stand out too much. I probably wouldn't stand out too much in the neighborhood like this. Sooner or later, I probably grow accustomed to my new life here. Right, accustomed. In other words, I still had to adapt myself to the world around me, and honestly, it felt a bit stifling. That wasn't just true for me. I think this applies for Jamie as well. It was a fact that Asaka was there. We had to accept that and accustom ourselves to it. But that proved much more difficult than either of us had expected. Even when we talk about what Asaka never indirectly pop out when the discussion turned out to specific tactics or general strategy, during me suggesting her favorite Asaka was on the tables would remind us of her. Eventually, we began to fall silent every time she came out to our conversation. Akasaka had been a very even large part of us that we ever known. Ah! Wait, what? What? Is Jamie crying there? Well, Yuuji, you are one of a freaking lucky guy, to be honest, to sleep with women. Wait, what? Words almost spoken, trapped by our close mouth, cut was straight in our chest. Remember, Asaka became a thorn in our hearts. By the time things got this far, the two of us no longer knew how to interact with each other. We tried to fill the hole in our hearts by holding each other, hurting each other. No, I was hurting JB, that's all our selfish sadness. I do lost one woman and now I was taking my pain out on another. It was so JB accepted my action without saying anything. Maybe she knew it was the only form of comfort she called for me. Her kindness was almost unbearable. Sometimes when I thought about how dependent I was on her compassion, the guilt and shame would bring me to the verge of tears. Whenever JB saw me holding back, tears filled her eyes as well, and she had to tightly. We had to find a better way forward than this. I need to live more boldly, more cuddly, the way Asako had.
私と一緒にいるとどうしても思い出してしまうなら一緒にいない方がいいのかな。
When Jamie got home late from work, she'd take a bath, have a few drinks, and say the same things that he always said. You don't have to worry about me. As she slumps there on the couch, I stood behind her, using a dryer on her hair and gave her my usual advice.
辛いのは私の方かもね。ごめん、ユージ。忘れて。
Tears rolling down her face, Jamie fell asleep right under the couch. My heart aching, I picked her up without a word, carried her to the bed. One day after days, I continued like this, for sometimes Jamie left to work and didn't come back. Periodically, she checking over the phone. Jamie claimed she was busy with work, but in reality, she was probably just avoiding me all the suffocating silence that had come between us. Without her around, the apartment was nothing more than a well-furnished cage. I might as well just stay shut in Asako's cabin. What was I supposed to do now? They say life's a journey, and when you lose sight of your destination, it's usually best to turn back and retrace your steps. But Kusaka by Asako had always been my home. Now that she was gone, when was I supposed to return to? A journey, huh? Come to think of it, I hadn't done much in the way of traveling. I don't know when this was exactly or how long the topic came up, but I did talk to Asako about traveling once.
あ？北海道？行ったことあるぞ。
For a job?
いいや、プライベートで。
To fire a bear?
なんでだよ。普通に観光だよ。
Huh, did you take a bus tour or something?
いや、観光バスは嫌いだ。ほら、裏の納屋の中に幽霊のポンコツがあるだろ？あれで行ったんだ。
Oh, the motorcycles, what's wrong with the bus tours?
だっておめえよ、観光バスなんてあれだぞ。はーい、時間です。あれを見てください。これを見てください。ってよ、便所の時間まで決められてんだぞ。旅行が終わって家に帰れば、疲れ以外の何も残っちゃいないような旅の何が面白い。
I never been on a trip, so I can't really say.
いいか、ユージ。 旅の意味ってのはな、何を見つけて何を持ち帰るかが重要だ。人と同じものを見て人と同じ発見をすることはわざわざ旅に出なくてもできる。一人でバイクで気ままに旅して、気になるものがあったら止まってみればいい。知らない道があったら入ってみればいい。道を間違えても気にしない。自分で見て感じて発見して理解する。そういうことを繰り返してるとな、人と同じものを見ても違う見え方をしてくるもんだ。軍人なんて仕事をしてるとよ、そういった人とは違う視点ってのが重要だったりもするわけだ。わかるか？
Yeah, well, more or less.
なんとなくかよ。まあ、そうだよな。よし！そんじゃお前が免許取ったら、バイクで北海道行くか。一月も向こうにいりゃ、なんか違ったもんが見えてくるだろう。
What about work?
サラリーマンじゃねえんだ。休めばいいさ。
I think an office job will have less trouble taking a vacation actually.
細けいことはどうだっていいんだよ。バイク2台で北海道まで行ってよ。そっから先は現地解散で別行動な。
Why even bother going together then?
バカだな。私の後についてあれ見ろこれ見ろ言われたらバスと変わんねえだろうが。合流場所だけ決めて別行動すんなよ。そんでな、キャンプ場で合流したら何を見てどう感じたか、酒でも飲みながらお互いに語り合うってわけよ。その方が旅として濃いし、絶対面白いから。
Sure, I guess we'll need 2 cameras then.
最初のうちはよ、一人の心細さで走るだけで精一杯になっちまう。景色見てる余裕すらねえ。けど慣れてくりゃいろんなもんが見えてくる。気がつきゃネットの中で大声で歌を歌いながら走ってる。一人を楽しめ、どうしても一人じゃ寂しいってんならジョンを連れて行きゃいい。こうよ、タンクの上にベタっと伏せさせてな、犬がいるってだけでこんなに心強いのかって改めて感動するぞ。観光バスの旅行に比べりゃ無駄だらけだけどな、ユージ、人生ってやつは無駄を楽しむもんだ。
What? Yeah, true enough. Wasting time is what life's all about. When you are unemployed.
無駄を重ねてきたやつの方が生きるのがうまい。楽しい人生ってやつだ。ま、ガキにはまだわかんねえか。
Someday, let's go to Hokkaido, but that won't become true anymore. That proposal Akasaka never actually became reality, but that didn't mean it was too late for me. I didn't know what to do with myself after losing her, but now that I was starting to get an idea of how to move forward. Long story short, I'm going to live and have myself a bit of a journey.
どこへ行くの？
Good question. I guess I'll just go with the breeze for now.
目標を失ったら風の吹く方へってこと？
Sure, I'm still a marine at heart, I guess.
帰ってくるの？
Of course I am. Absolutely. I mean, this is me we are talking about. I'll probably come asking you for help if I run into any trouble.
不安。あなた、お金とかちゃんと持ってるの？
Yeah, I gotta be safe in a way. And if I run out, I'm just looking for work locally.
まあいいわ。行ってらっしゃいな。携帯だけはなくさないようにね。
That's a surprise. I was sure you tried to stop me.
引き止めて欲しかったの？
I mean, you're going to be alone without me around, right? Especially at night.
さっさと行っちゃいなさいよ。バカね。
At first, I figured I head out to Hokkaido and go look at the same thing Akasaka had seen. But deciding on the destination before I felt like a little wrong somehow. For the time being, I returned to Akasaka's cabin and retrieved her motorcycles from the shed out back. Taking the battery off its sticker child, I reinstalled it on the oversized oil coil 1100cc by then pressed the self-starter. I just had some troubles with the engine, but it started out just fine on the first try. Then again, I'd taken the bike for the ride about 4 months previously. And when I was done, I removed the battery and added a few stabilization to the tank and carburetor, so there wasn't any reason to be surprised. As long as the engine started out, there wasn't much else to worry about. Once I tied my backpack to the tender seats, my package was basically complete. Next, I put on my riding gear, a pair of deerskin gloves, a leather double rider's jacket from the UK, and the engine's boots with zipper wears on the last instance where the shift pedal rested. All I had to do was strap on Asako's old silver jet helmet, and I could leave anytime. So then I was on my way, doing the things Asako had done, seeing the things she said, what was going to help me repair anything of the things I lost. But it was the only way I could think of to be the hold her there and left it in my heart. I hadn't decided on the destination, but just right there around and will be any different from taking a walk. I can cross the roads I was already familiar with. Deliberately choosing routes I never taken before. I took her down the Honshu for 2 weeks. Ultimately, I found myself heading for Hokkaido the same way Asako had. I tried to take the ferry in Ore, but there wasn't any tickets available, so I rode over to the Sendai instead. They didn't have any spots for two-wheel vehicles on the ferry, so if you want to be on the safe side, it was best to reserve a spot in advance. As soon as I said that, I ordered a ticket using the web browser on my cell phone. From Sendai, I'd be riding over to Tomakomai. The ferry left at 8, but I got there at 30:30 in the afternoon, so I ended up napping on the second floor on the terminal. In time, the boat pulled into the harbour, let our passenger from Nagoya, and finally allowed us to board. I taken a few boats ride inside a combat vehicles, but this was my first time taking a motorcycle onto the ferry. Honestly, the process made me a little nervous. Given the size of my bike, I had to be very careful. If I opened the throttle, I nearly might stick on the metal deck. One penny squeezing from the bike would send me toppled over. Following the start instruction, I made my way towards the bottom of the boat, putting my handle lock and tied the motorcycle down, leaving it low gear. This is to be fixed firmly in place. They explained I wouldn't be able to touch the bike again until we reached Hokkaido, so I took my backpack off and headed out to the passenger cabin. Eventually, a gong rang on the signal of departure and the ferry set sail with a big assistance from tugboat. Outside the cabin window, the light of Sendai Harbour and the city beyond rose slowly by. I left mainland Japan behind with a silent farewell, swearing that I returned one day with my straight renew or something like that. The ferry reached Tomakomai a bit past 10 in the next morning. The flights have already began to disembark. After untying my four-wheel, I waited for four-wheel vehicle to finish. Then finally made my way to the boat on the soil. My first impression of Hokkaido was simple. It was a seriously spacious place. The roads were all very wide, and once you got a bit outside the town, you tend to find a whole lot of nothing. Placing down at my trip meter, I realized I had been 60 kilometers since the last time I refilled the tanks. I rode around looking for a gasoline point station, but to my surprise, it was not to be found. On the verge of panic, I stopped my bike and took out a road map. Using my cell phone to pinpoint my location, I scoured out the map, found that the nearest gas station seemed to be over in Iwamizawa. I finally getting my hands on something yesterday. I was wondering what to do next. When a small group of bikers rode by, I removed my bungalow with budget. I was wondering what to do next when a small group of bikers rode by, their motorcycles bundled with luggage. I followed it on the wind that led me on the city famous for its melons and ultimately to the place called Nishio Pass. I stopped to eat at the driver in there and asked a biker in his 50s head who looked like a veteran where I could find the local campground. He pointed out on my back. Wow, I suppose I got used to the city living, but Hokkaido really did seem huge at first. Seems huge at first. I couldn't remember the last time I seen the horizon like this. It almost felt like I was in a foreign country. The road stretches out endlessly in front of me. I was riding a gas guzzler that could manage more than 20 kilometers per liter, so the number on my trace meter was source of the fuel sound real anxiety. I made a habit of fueling every chance I got. Who knew if there has been another gas station after this one? I also felt the same way looking out of the scenery. My night day in Hokkaido, in the campground, I noticed a man heating his food inside an empty can which he had over a small gas stove. He told me it was a good way to cook simple meals for once, since you could just throw away the can later. No need bother finding water to wash your mess kit. Seems pretty logical. I was a bit impressed. When I tried it out for myself, it worked well enough, but the food taste noticeably worse than usual. I decided to file this trick away and it might come in handy someday. And that's why you use this habit at the Mihama Academy. Day 12. Leaning into the ferry as I barreled down a long straight way, all I could hear was the sound of my engine, exhaust system, and drive chain. Somehow it felt like the world had left me behind. Irrational anxiety rose up inside me. I've never been that social person, but right now I wanted to see another human being so badly I felt like screaming. For lack of a better alternative, I gave it a try. Asako! I got all the way out now and here I was shouting the name of the dead woman. Pretty pathetic, really. I didn't have any intention of forgetting her, but maybe it was about time to work on moving forward. Day 15. I found myself behind an American motorcycle moving sluggish down along the straight stretch of the road. For a moment I thought about trying to pass them, but it seemed like more trouble than it would be worth. I slowed to a leisurely place and spent some time studying the scenery. Eventually we passed a policeman who'd been lying waiting at an intersection. Now that it all made sense. Things might get messy if a cop hauled me in, and JB would probably end up giving me a scolding. It wasn't like I had any place to be. Might as well take it slowly and easy. Day 21. 200 meters ahead of me for a long straightway. I spotted something back in the middle of the road. I approached slowly and far. It was the carcass of a deer. A wave of noises hit me hard, but I still got over my issues with dead bodies of any kind. I looked around for a car with a big dent in his hood, a motorcycle with its fork lodging in an exhaust pipe. But there was nothing, no biker lying with his head twisted and an unnatural anger either. I guess that he go to the training camp, the training with the Daniel boy and the others. It felt like we had never seen the name Kid Oslo anymore. I was like, what is going to happen? What are the climax in here about this guy Kid Oslo? There was a bit of a relief. Day 25. The weather took a turn for the worse and my body's temperature quickly plunged. I was shivering in my leather jacket. At first I tried to tuck it out until the next rest off. But after a terrified moment of lying here, I pulled over and over my backpack with trembling hands, then put my long raincoat over my jacket and jeans. It made a surprisingly big difference. The only problem now was my hand. I could rest my left on the head of the engine, but my right grew colder with every minute on the handle. Eventually I put on the glove over top of my right once. It helped a little, but I clearly need a better solution. Day 28. With my bike running 5th gear at the front, I casually open with throttle. For some reason, my rear wheels spun sideways. Wow! He holidayed that long until 1 mile at the foreign country. I started to see if I run over a patch of this or a cow patty, but it turned out that the wheel had gone completely fault. When I checked the front tire as well, I realized it was badly worn on the right side, but not the left. No wonder she'd be shaking every time I let her go over the handle. I ran over to the nearest motorcycle shop, but they say they have to send away for new tires. The inventory was badly better in the bigger town, so I asked the clerk to call around to order to their other stores. Once we found a place with the right goods, I drove over carefully and I had the tire replaced. On top of that, they swapped out for the front wheel, the distant collar and the axle shape, all which I read from wheel. That total came to 67,000 yen. I knew this part would not eventually, but the bills was pretty painful. I had to try to cut down my food expense from now on. Day 31. Stuff at the I gave the deep fried salmon meal a try. It proved to be unbelievable, salty, practically inedible without a rice, yet they made up for a poor quality with truly massive portion. Looking down at my overly full plate, I found myself thinking of JB. Despite the size, the woman was a big eater. When we went to the restaurant, she often couldn't finish what she served. Let's say she'd have a good 5 meals per day. Whenever she ran out of things, she would smile at me and slightly push the rest onto my plate. Yeah, so eat up, seems to be the message. Back when Akasaka was alive, she apparently played a similar role. JB might be a larger, noisy, shaggy-headed woman, but you had to admit she have a bit of a cute side. Wonder what's JB doing right now. For the first time since I left, I found myself missing her. My mind had been full of Asako for a very long time. Maybe it was finally begun to make a little space for other things. That same night, I sent JB an email from my phone. I love you, Julia. I didn't say a response to the business and left in the mail. Are you drunk? My first reaction was something along the lines of that can shake your head, but at the same time, I couldn't help smiling at how typical JB was. I just seen experience a lot since arriving in Hokkaido, and I was starting to regain something that resembled self-confidence, but at this point I also began to notice something strange. Even when I gunned the throw, the needle of my RPM guards was responding very sluggish. Akasaka had expected to treat me this kindly in her days. He had a good 70,000 kilometers under his belt. It tended to burn through gas really quickly. I've been ready carefully and changing the oil on the regular basis, but one day I noticed a strange clanking noise coming from the head. When I pulled over into the convenience store parking lot, I just probably gave out the ghost. No matter how many times I pressed the switch, the starter relay just click-clack. The bike didn't even switch. I tried pushing starting in second gear, but the instant I released the clutch, the rear wheel just locked up. For lack of any better options, I spent 6 hours pushing the heavy hung down to the repair shop. From what the mechanic could tell, either the general bearing in the crankshafts or the big end bolt of the corner had probably broken. And repair it would make major operation require them to remove the engine from the body of the motorcycles. My financial situation would allow that, so I called out a vehicle transport company instead, and I having to push another elevator to the nearest depot. Having lost my way, I turned back and began to retrace my path on the foot way down my backpack. Honestly, what the hell was I doing? What the hell was I doing? It might be funny if it was so ridiculous. As I trudged down the road with my leather jacket and oversized bag, a group of bikers rolled past. A few of them were going to reach the dispatch. When were they off to such a hurry place? If they had some business that wanted to be that badly, I invited them. One of the motorcycles in the group actually took the time to turn around and come back after passing me. It was a Kawasaki D1 with a strange orange and purple paint job. The person riding seems to be a relatively young man. Lifted the vision of his hand, he asked me if I had been in an accident. When I honestly replied that my bike had simply met his hand, the guy gave me no cheek and said, "Bet you rode into the dead and never changed the oil, right?" Making an excuse seems like a waste of effort, so I just gave him a very wide smile. The man offered me a ride towards my destination, but of course I didn't have such a thing. That was the only reason I am out here in the first place. I'm just a moron who spent the last month running around in circles. The man replies to this, "Ah, you!" And a loud burst of laughter. I guess I will leave you to do it. Yeah. He raised his hand in farewell and rolled on the way he coming. You! A number of giant question marks spawned in my head. The words didn't really mean much to me. I had attended ordinary school since I was very young, and my aunt also had exactly been a typical one. What's you for a person who go to normal school? The kind of kids who still think the world's a nice place. The kind of teenager who get work over the girls. They lash out at their parents when reality doesn't live up to their expectation. That was what I always thought it meant. School! Then I called Julia. Julia, can you help me arrange a school? Then, this Chizuru-chan, I think. Right now, I was lost as a human being, lost in the face of the future, uncertain what I could do in my life, acting on impulse, in a hope something might change. I had nothing to be passionate about, but I was too young to be jaded, and all these jumble feelings had slowly filled me with a vague sense of anxiety. From anyone else's perspective, it was probably a textbook case of youthful angst. Once I realized that, the whole thing suddenly seemed remarkably idiotic. Youth, huh? It was embarrassing even to say the word out loud, but somehow it felt like a simple. Maybe that was exactly what I'd been lacking. Time to go home. I still wasn't sure exactly where home was, but it wasn't important right now. A few days later, I called JP and informed her that I'd be returning and caught a flight from Chitose Airport. Compared to my long outward journey, the trip back was over in the blink of an eye. It really drove home exactly how much time I spent blundering around like an idiot. Akasaka probably would be smiling and told me that. That's just fine, kid. Flounder around all you want. Life's all about struggle, you see. Don't try to make things easy on yourself. When my master's word ringing in my ears, I returned from my travel with nothing concrete to show them. And very only fatigued for so I made my way back to Yamanashi, where Asako memory still lingering strongly in the air. It didn't work, Asako. I came back empty-handed and I still don't understand anything. Also, I kinda busted your bike. My bad, it's in the basement at JB's apartment building for now, but I definitely get it fixed. Sorry. I put my report to Asako while branding and offering in instant. Then opened the can of beer that I took out the convenience store and placed it outside of the bottle of her grave. In that moment, I thought I heard a voice emerging from my gravestone.
楽しかったか?
Oh! I saw a ghost. It was the voice of a mother addressing her son who returned covering muds after an energetic afternoon outside. Before I knew, I was poking my ass out loud. Well, I guess I enjoyed myself a little. Now that I was talking to a phantom, probably not a good sign. Anyway, what am I supposed to do with myself now? Naturally, now the slap of the tone in front of me didn't provide a reply. Still, it felt like an answer did flash briefly through my mind. Yeah, sure, can't hurt to give it that youth thing another try. Maybe spend some time in a normal school for once. There was no guarantee it would change anything, but it probably best be doing nothing at all. So that's how you go to the school? Finally! So anyway, I asked you to arrange my transition to reserve secretary and approached Chibana Chizuru and got her permission to enroll at my academy.
そうやってあなたは簡単に言ってくれるけど、私がどれだけ苦労したかわかってる?
Oh, we have another background story for this? I'm grateful, of course. Children grow up by chasing after their father, and when they lose their way, they turn back and look for their mother. When I turned around lost and uncertainty, you were always there for me. It took too damn embarrassing to say this out loud, but I really am grateful for you through that, TV.
まあいいわ。今日のところはこんなものかしらね。あなたの提出してくれた資料は私が修正しておくわ。
Huh, you're really a fine woman, JB. Let me sleep with you sometimes, will you?
はいはい、また今度ね。今日はもう帰っていいわよ。お疲れ様。
Right, thanks, JB. That's it.
入りなさい。
失礼します。桑原2位からお預かりしました。風見雄二の S 時代の効果表のチェックが終わりましたので、ご確認をお願いします。
ご苦労様。今は本人がいるから、後で確認します。デスクの上に置いておきなさい。
あ、風見さんいらっしゃったんですね。
Oh, Kazami-san, my ass. You were obviously watching from on monitor for the other and came in when the conversation ended. Don't act like you are surprised.
ああ、すみません。一応そういう仕事なもので。怒ってます？
Can't say it put me in a good mood.
すみません。お尻触りますか？
Where they're coming from? Make it sound like I'm some kind of ass-grabbing serial molester.
じゃあ触らないんですか？
Maybe next time, maybe when we are alone.
もう、じゃないわよ、牛じゃあるまいし。いいから、資料を置いたらさっさと自分の仕事に戻る。
We'll see you next time, Chiara.
いっつもそうやってまた今度って。次は絶対ですよ。
キアラ
Chiara? I say Chiara.
はい、すみません。先輩。後で少しお時間よろしいですか？
何？
ここだけの話ですけど、一家から気になる情報のリークがありましたので、少しご相談を。
I think this is about Oslo. I think.
わかったわ。
I'm just leaving anyway. You can discuss it here.
でも、
Goodbye, Major Harudera. I'll be on my way from now.
ご苦労様。
I leave from first division probably means Akasaka's up to something fishy. It's better for free agents like me not to hear too much about that sort of thing. Some jobs are easier to do when you don't know about the politics or behind the scenes maneuvering involved. And in any case, I pretty damn tired. I did stay out late working those documents, but revisiting the less pleasant parts of my past were also exhausting more than I expected. Right now, I just want to get back to the door, collapse into my bed and sleep.
みちる様、いらっしゃいますか？
Oh, they try to... What? Michiru is talking, right?
みちる様、ここを開けてください。
It's been a while since I saw them.
おいみちる、俺だよ俺。今から言う口座に100万円振り込んでくれよ。
誰よ？
もう、いつまでおへそをひん曲げてるおつもりですか？いい加減に出てきてください。
私のことはもう放っておいてよ。
そうはいきません。この小峰幸、みちる様のことが心配で何をしでかすか分かったもんじゃありません。とりあえず、扉から3メートル以上離れてください。できれば何か遮蔽物の影に隠れた方がいいかもしれません。
サーチ、あんた何する気？
天の岩戸に例えるならば、古来より引きこもりは愉快なダンスでおびき出すというのが通説ですが、あいにくとそこで爆破です。踊りが苦手な私に代わり、みちる様にソウルフルなダンスナンバーをお届けして、心ゆくまで踊っていただこうかと。主に。ちょっと待った！
今出る！すぐに出るから！
蕎麦屋の出前じゃあるまいし、今更そんな言葉にどんな信頼を受けと？さあ、ギグの始まりです。頭を空っぽにしてあげましょう。いろんな意味で。
待ちなさいって言ってんでしょが！
わ
ーじゃないわよ。全然驚いてないじゃないのよ。なんで舌打ちした？なんでちょっと残念みたいな顔してんの？ねえ。
幸がっかりです。
言っちゃったよ。がっかりって言っちゃったわよ、この子。なんなのよ。
ま、出てきちゃったものは仕方がありませんね。みちる様、もうすぐ晩ご飯のお時間ですので、呼びに参りました。
そんだけ？それだけのためにドアを爆破しようとしたの？
はい、そうでもしないと、みちる様は出てきてくださらないと思いましたし、あまりのうざさに放置して、ますます意固地になられても死ぬほど面倒なので、さっさとやっつけてしまおうかと。
正直だなぁ、もう。面倒とか言うな。
すみません。手段が多少強引であったことは自覚しておりますが、ツンデレ当番としての自負もありますれば、私以外でみちる様に対処できる者もいないのではとの自己判断です。どうですか、みちる様。あれから少しは落ち着かれましたか？
うん。ごめん、ソチ。もうだいぶ落ち着いた。なんか、一人で興奮してバカみたい。ほんと、ごめん。
私は全く気にしていませんから、そのお言葉はマキちゃんに。
そっか。なんかついカッとなって殴っちゃったしね。謝らなきゃ。
そうですね。私は全然、全く、みじんも怒っていませんから、どうかお気遣いなくです、この野郎。
この野郎。
ねえ、サチ。 あんた本当はちょっと怒ってる？
ちょっ
ごめんなさい。なんかもうちょっとってレベルじゃないのね。はい、ごめんなさい。なんか、取り乱してごめんなさい。
というわけで、幼女に対する暴行傷害の罪で、松島みちる容疑者の身柄を確保、連行してまいりました。
連行？連行ってどういうこと？私をはめたのね、サチ！チルチル！マッキナ。
みちる様？素直に。
うるさいわね！わかってるわよ。マッキナ。さっきはごめん。いい
のよ。全然気にしてないのよ。でも、一個だけ約束して。
約束？
なんか、あれなのよ。もう死ぬとか、そういうのやめて。
いや、別に私だって自殺しようとか思ってたわけじゃないし。
マキちゃんは、みちる様が大声で興奮していらっしゃったので、いろいろと勘違いしてしまったんです。ご覧ください。マキちゃん泣いてます。
泣いてるの？これ。
マキちゃんは、みちる様が大好きなのです。みちる様が死んでしまうのが嫌で、こんなにもぶっ細工な顔で泣いてしまうのです。
いや、だから私、別に自殺とか。ジルジルが
死んじゃったら、私、明日から誰に死んでそうだらいいのよさ。
そんな理由？
泣いた勢いで、ちょっとした本音がポロリです。でも、気にしてはいけません。
なーによ。っていうか、ジルジル言うな。
死んじゃ嫌なのよ。
泣きゲロです。横隔膜の痙攣で軽く一口吐いて、今飲み込みました。牛でいうところの半数プレイです。
うわー、汚いわね。だから、私は死なないから、ちょっと落ち着きなさいよ。ねえ。
ほんと、勝手に死んじゃったりしない。約束する。
はい、出ました。半泣き上目遣いの懇願です。ここはガッとマキちゃんを抱き寄せて、優しく耳元で囁きましょう。はい、ガさあ、みちる様、本音をどうぞ。
バカねえ、マキナ。私は自殺なんかしないわよ。もうずぶとく生きるって決めたんだから。
本当に
約束するわ。
心臓に毛が生えたみたいに、ちゃんとずぶとく生きる？
うん。心臓に毛が生えたみたいに、ちゃんと生きる。
美しい友情ですね。感動的な曲があれば泣いてしまえるシチュエーションです。というわけで、僭越ながらこの小峰幸、ここで一曲。もう遅いから帰っておいで。
And the episode here, my friend. Thank you for watching my video. My video is just for fun.
セーブするわ。
Don't think I have brothers and sisters. It's still 15. Adios, famosa.